Welcome back to Chance Myanmar. This is lesson 3 and today we are going to look at closing presentations. Remember, we started off with introducing your presentation, organizing your information. Now we're going to look at how you can close your presentation. You should have all your phrases and vocabulary from the last 2 lessons. Remember, we have to put this together to create a complete presentation. So you're at the end of your presentation. Let's consider this question. What do you want your audience to think after your presentation? You need to make a call to action. This is something that you want them to go away and do after listening to your presentation. You can make a call to action by using some of the following phrases. Let's have a look at them. As always, write these down. Number 1, you could say, after this presentation, please take a couple of minutes to close. I'd like to ask you to do this one thing. And finally, before you leave today, please take 2 minutes to... I want you to think about how you can complete these sentences. A great presentation will leave your audience feeling positive. A nice way to do that is by using motivational quotes. So, what feeling do you want to leave them with? Of course, a positive feeling. So let's have a look at these phrases you can use to introduce a nice quote. I'd like to finish with this powerful, interesting, wonderful, inspiring, motivational quote from, and then you would show your quote. Or you could say, let's end today's discussion with this surprising, useful, shocking, hopeful statistic. It's always nice to have statistics at the end. It keeps people thinking. Did you know that a person is likely to remember only 25% of a presentation after 24 hours? That's a nice, useful, surprising point at the end of a presentation. Your palms are probably really sweaty at this point, but you have survived your presentation. You are there. So let's have a look at some phrases you can use to summarize and conclude. That brings us to the end of the presentation. I'd like to summarize by saying, that concludes my presentation. However, I'd like to quickly summarize the main points or takeaways. You could simply say, to summarize, in conclusion. You could also say, to quickly recap. To recap means to go over something again. So, to quickly recap, I'd like to go over the key points. You need to leave your audience feeling positive, remember? So a great way to do that is not by running off the stage because you can't wait to get off the stage. It's by thanking your audience. So let's have a look at some nice ways to thank them. Look at this. I would like you to write these down. They're very important. I sincerely appreciate your attention today or this evening or this morning. And that brings us to the end. I'd like to thank you for your time and attention. Thank you so much for your interest and attention. At this time, I'd like to have my colleague speak. So I'll finish up by saying thank you for your attention. I can see that our time is just about up. So to finish, I'd like to say thank you. I sincerely appreciate that I've had this opportunity to present to you. I think your audience would be very happy with gratitude shown this way. At this stage in your presentation, you have thanked the audience, and now we need to move on and ask if they have any questions. So let's take a look at some useful phrases that you can use to do that. I'd like you to write these down. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to open up the discussion. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask now and I'll do my best to answer. Would anyone like to ask any questions? Now let's move on to Q&A. Great work, everyone. That is the end of this lesson. You have done great. You now need to put all the lessons together. So you should be able to open your presentation, organize your presentation, and close your presentation. Make sure you take the phrases from each lesson and start to create a presentation. I hope to see you back in our next lesson, which is going to be very, very important. It's all about presenting data.